we made a Doritos commercial. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check it out on my channel. There's a convenient link for you right over here. Go watch it and then come back and see how we put it all together. The Doritos Crash the Super Bowl contest was live for about 2 months. I almost participated and then decided I was too broke, too stressed, too busy to deal with spearheading another production. And then 2 weeks go by and I realized this is the whole reason I moved here. Hollywood is this winter wonderland of filmmaking. So I don't care how broke I am, if I have to stay up all night, driving for Uber Eats, delivering Big Macs at 7-Eleven Big Gulps. I don't care how stressed out I am with all my other productions I'm already taking care of. I don't care how busy I am with all my plans and my calendar and all my free time just dwindling. Sometimes you just gotta do it.
Do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Now, right off the rip, we already lost 90% of the time other contestants had for the competition. We started ours 3 days before the deadline, even though there was a whole 2 months that could have been utilized. Now, writing the script was a little tricky because it had to be 30 seconds, and there's a giant list of rules and guidelines. You can tell Doritos maybe has been sued once or twice because a lot of their funny commercials from the early 2000s, they would have been disqualified with their current guidelines. So while writing the script, we decided to highlight one specific characteristic of a Dorito. We looked at the shape of a Dorito, triangle, the color, orange. We looked at the dust it leaves on your fingers, and we settled on the sound of Doritos, the satisfying crunch you get. So we had to choose something to highlight what makes a Dorito a Dorito. Now, the main problem with the writing process is that when I finished the script, it was a full page. And traditionally, 1 page of script equals 1 minute of screen time, which is double the limit, the 30-second limit for the Doritos competition. So I don't want to find actors, find a crew, film all night just to sit down and edit and realize it's too long and will be disqualified. So I did what's called a previs. I shot the entire commercial right here in my bedroom. I then edited it to make sure I could time it out to be exactly 30 seconds. And that's what we'll see right here. Now, as you can see, that was very rough. I played all the characters. There was no location, wardrobe, lighting. I just shot it all right here. But it helped me because it let me know I could edit it to be 30 seconds. So now my script is done. With the script in hand, I now needed to find a location that felt caveman-y. Luckily, the location I used for Bachelosaur, if you haven't seen it yet, link right over there, gave off a caveman feel. Off to the side of the production, our special effects makeup artist, Mia. This is where she did all my makeup to make it look like I was attacked by a velociraptor. And around the area, you can see there's some trees, dirt ground, big boulders. I don't know why, but boulders and dirt gave me a caveman feel. Took some pictures, and then with my advanced digital art skills, I kind of sketched what I thought the scene would look like. The 2 cavemen hiding between the rocks, maybe a bush in the background. Bada bing, bada boom, location, done. Next up were the props. Pretty simple. I just need Doritos and a bush. Easy. Or so I thought. A bush from a prop warehouse, a nice fake bush, was way too expensive. So I go to Home Depot in their garden area to buy a bush. They don't sell bushes, but they had ferns like these here. But at $40 a pop, that's just not gonna be feasible. So I head inside and I find some more tropical looking plants, which I inadvertently realize kind of helps the caveman feel. I take 3 of them because they're also kind of expensive. I take 3, I put them in the aisle to see how they'd look. Not great. You can't really hide from a T-Rex and behind 3 little plants. I keep looking and then I find what I'm gonna call a foliage wall. Just a wall of greenery. And I use my creative processing and I realize if I have the nice tropical plants in the front and the foreground, put my actors in the middle, and then have that green wall in the background, I can paint a picture of a bush, maybe. So that's what I did. Loaded up the cart, dropped $100 on plants, and we're good to go. Now, pre-production is your biggest friend. The more pre-production you do, the more problems you can tackle before they actually become problems. And I knew if I showed up the set and just made a bush, I'd probably have some problems. So I made the bush in my apartment first. I took that green foliage wall and I put it on a backdrop, hung it down. I then put my plants in the scene. I had my roommate and his friend come into the scene, and I could visualize how it would look on camera. Main problem is how tight it was. That green foliage wall wasn't very big. I can't afford 2 of them. So I now knew when I go to make my shot list, when I go to make my storyboard, everything has to be pretty tight. The other little thing I wanted to test out before going on set was having the T-Rex head pop through the bush. So I created a little trap door in that foliage wall. I didn't want a hole, I wanted a trap door, so it would like seal itself back up. I then did another test, and you'll see it right here. And as you can see, the little cat's head pops right through, goes back in, the door opens and closes. It's perfect. Now, of course, the T-Rex has a bigger head, and on set, I'll just cut it to be bigger, and then we're good to go. So now all that's left for the props is to grab some Doritos. Easy. Except it wasn't, and I'll explain more of that later. But for the most part, props, done. Now, while on this wild goose chase for a bush, I was multitasking. I was calling all the cinematographers I knew, all the gaffers, grips, actors, putting the Avengers together. And one of the crucial roles I had to hire somebody on for was the wardrobe designer. Now, I love arts and crafts, I love making things, but we did not have any time. We were making this commercial in like the last 2 days of the entire competition. So I actually looked out to a friend, Maria. She came on board. She was our wardrobe stylist, and she knocked it out of the park, which was great because I still had to make storyboards. I still needed to make the shot list. I need to put the rest of the crew together. So having someone else taking care of all the costumes was a huge weight off of my shoulders. So I sent her off to Goodwill, to the thrift stores, and I said, get crafty with it, because I know she can, and she did. So while Maria was out shopping for all the parts and pieces to make the wardrobes, I was at home. I was looking up some caveman styles, sending her a vision board. So these are some of the photos I sent her to kind of use as reference. And you can see her final designs right over here. They're pretty spot on to the references I gave her. We're going for like a Flintstones animal fur kind of caveman look. Now you'll see Jabron, he's wearing what looks like something made out of a brown bear, but in reality, I believe that was a bath mat for like the floor. And Maria just cut it up and stitched it together the right way. And then you'll see our actress Erin. She's actually wearing what I think was a winter coat, a large purse or tote bag, and then some miscellaneous cloth all put together to form that piece. Now, Maria was actually making those costumes before the actors were even casted, but it was fine because I told Maria, make them adjustable. So no matter who got casted for the role, a tall person or shorter person, whatever it was, all the pieces could be tightened, extended, lengthened. I call it being exploratively broke because desperation breeds creativity. Put that on a t-shirt. Send it to me. That was good. So that was a lot of the pre-production. Moving on to production, we're on the location. You'll see Isaiah and I, we're putting the bush together. I'm filling in all the plants. You'll see Gabe and I, he's the DP. We're trying to find the perfect angle because if we shoot too wide, you'll see cars driving by, you'll see the street lights. And if we film it too tight, then you lose those really big boulders that the actors are hiding in between. And I love those boulders. I don't know why, but the boulders gave the scene a much more caveman vibe. So now that the set is built, the last thing to add are the Doritos. So we wanted it to look like a Dorito bush. So we had this stretch of vine that we super glued Doritos onto. Unfortunately, I accidentally made an Isaiah bush. We were trying to make our little Dorito bush. I super glued Doritos to the bush. But the problem is, while Isaiah was holding them, the glue went through the leaves. So now we have a Isaiah Dorito bush. Now, if you remember, when we were talking about props and the only thing left to buy were the Doritos, little bit of a hiccup. For every bag of Doritos, you're only getting maybe 4 or 5 solid chips, like solid triangles. The rest are broken in half, broken to quarters, little crumbs. So I had my production assistant, Chloe, dump out 3 bags of Doritos. And after 3 bags, I think we ended up with maybe 12 solid triangles. Now, Chloe, our production assistant, there's actually a story to be told here. So let me just derail this behind the scenes video for like 30 seconds. Long story short, I'm always job hunting. I'm always looking for ways to further my career. I spend $5 a month on a job posting site called Hollylist. I spend $10 a month on a job site called entertainmentcareers.com. I spend $40 a month on LinkedIn Plus Premium Deluxe. It always blows my mind that if you're unemployed looking for a job in the entertainment world, you need to pay to just see the jobs or else they're hidden from you. Now, the one thing that separates LinkedIn from other job posting sites is that LinkedIn really wants you to connect with other industry professionals. So you have this giant list of connections. I share my short films. I'll share this video on there. It's just a giant network of people seeing what you're up to professionally. That's the point of LinkedIn. However, 95% of the time when I have a message on LinkedIn, it's a college. It's Iowa State College asking me to come to their college. It's Delaware Community College telling me I'm a great fit for your school. I already went to school. I got the degree. Okay, I have a diploma. I haven't framed it yet. It costs like $50 to get a nice diploma frame. I'm still working on it. Maybe if I wasn't spending $40 a month on LinkedIn, I could afford a nice wooden frame for my diploma. I believe she said she's also from the Midwest. She just moved to LA. She was trying to figure out how to go about finding a job. She somehow stumbled across my profile. She scrolled through it. She really liked some of the projects I've worked on, some jobs I've had while living here. She took it upon herself to DM me and just ask me for advice. And don't get me wrong, I'm looking for a job. I'm not looking to put people on a job, but it was so refreshing to get a human in my DMs on LinkedIn that I spent $40 a month on. So I replied to her. I told her about how I moved here, what I did, how I got started, and then she thanked me, and that was pretty much it. And then a month later, I was gearing up for this production, so I reached out to Chloe again. I brought her on board. She was our production assistant. She did great, and I'm really glad that I made that connection and was able to help somebody who was in my position not even 2 or 3 years ago. Now again, LinkedIn Premium Plus Deluxe, whatever the crap they want to call it, for $40 a month, kind of a huge ripoff. But every now and then, you get an actual person in your DMs that you can help out. And sometimes you'll get somebody in your DMs ready to help you out. And that's what LinkedIn should be. But maybe for like $10 a month, not $40. That's like my entire Wi-Fi bill. Okay, back to the behind the scenes. So while on production, there were only 3 problems that arose that we needed to figure out while on set. Number 1, my dino guy Ron, he can't operate the big T-Rex and the baby T-Rex at the same time. My assistant director, Isaiah, he had to be given a crash course on how to puppeteer the baby dinosaur. And the second problem that came up, the T-Rex couldn't push his head through the bush. Now I knew I'd have to cut the hole bigger for the big T-Rex head to go through. Problem is, my dino guy Ron, while wearing the suit, was too tall. He couldn't dip low enough to go into the bush. We even had him on his knees, and the T-Rex neck was still too big and tall. So we came up with a couple different ideas. Maybe the T-Rex runs in from the side, this, that, and we landed on the T-Rex just coming in from above, and that worked out just fine. Now we filmed the whole commercial in a public park, which is fine. You can film in a park, and the only people that appear in the video are our actors, and they all signed release forms, so we're good to go. However, as soon as you have a camera on a tripod, all the C-stands, the big lights, you get into a bit of a gray area. Technically, when your production's that big, you have multiple people, crew members, all that gear, you need a film permit. But that costs money. We didn't have any money. That also takes time because you need to file for the permit, wait a couple days, get the permit. We didn't have any time because we're doing this commercial right before it was due. So we did what's called guerrilla style filmmaking. You kind of show up to a location, film really quick, under the radar. However, we had a giant dinosaur on the set, so it was kind of impossible to be under the radar. But for the most part, nobody minded that we were there. However, Ron Swanson and Leslie Nope, they kept circling on by. That's the park and rec services. They were driving around the park in a big yellow truck, and I was just waiting for them to yell at us or kick us out. So at the end of the day, we did the whole commercial. No one ever approached us. No one talked to us. Nobody was mad that we were there. However, halfway through the production, somebody maybe 400 meters away started a giant fire in the middle of the park, which is highly illegal. And I'm not talking like a small campfire you're gonna cook some beans on. I'm talking like a Childish Gambino bonfire. It's a bonfire. So as I'm sure we're all aware, Southern California, fires, they don't mix very well. So we knew that big bonfire was going to attract the cops. The cops will kick out the guy that had that bonfire. They're now going to see our dinosaur, all of our film lights. They'll kick us out. So as soon as we saw that fire, we just started ripping through shots. So I wasn't setting up the lights real well. I wasn't framing everything well. It was just turn and burn. We were cutting shots out of the shot list. It was a doozy. That was a doozy for sure. Now that was a lot of the technical aspects of how we put this commercial together. My friend Vernice, she was on board. She did a lot of the behind the scenes photos and videos. So enjoy this montage of us creating this commercial.
Yo, what's up? It's your girl E-Sizzle in the building, Aaron Kroom, that's my government, and I'm an actor on this wonderful shoot, and I'm excited to be here. Let's run away from dinosaurs, shall we?
It's just Jabron here. I'm on set with Garrett and everybody. You know, we here filming for the Doritos commercial. I'm a caveman in these streets.
It's giving areolas.
Areolas out.
Dark skin areola. The mic is right there.
Ooh, you got me fitted. I'm looking like a caveman. When I strip down, my legs will be out. It's gonna be really cold.
Okay.
Butt naked.
It's giving potential genital exposure.
Y'all gonna have to pay me for that. But she all up in the thing. Like, I gave her time, and she was like, "I'm the star." You see?
What'd you say?
Huh?
Hmm? Oh, okay, I thought that was something.
She's a star. I'm just here.
Oh, hello.
What's your name?
My name is Jaron Pierce. I am gaffer today. Garrett always has such interesting ideas, and I think especially with the dino situation, he always just has some element to his things that like really make his projects like memorable.
Walk, you're sniffing around, you're sniffing, roar, rah! Look at me.
And I think that's the one thing I like most about him is that there's always like a wow factor that's there. And he's always fun to work with. He always has something interesting going on. And we're always like in a park somewhere where we shouldn't be.
So you're holding it with these fingers and then...
Oh my God. Okay, look, I know it's not professional. I know it's not, but we're in love. Just look at his eyes.
Big dino dip.
So masculine, so manly, so rough. We make cute babies.
This is the eye. This is the mouth.
Okay.
So, obviously, the artery,
I'm sorry. We're here to talk about acting and not our love affair. I will say our acting is probably like one of the easiest things I've had to do because I don't have to memorize lines. However, it almost is like a little bit more of a challenge because you have to like do more acting since you can't just rely on the words. So it's really fun. It's a challenge, but it's like at the same time, the easiest, but the hardest thing, you know? So we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully I get an academy. No facts, not a caveman with an undercut. It's like a fresh one too. It's like scalp is giving. That caveman woman got you on lock. Like, okay. The jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
In the jungle. First things first, I'm cold as fuck. Garrett got my ass out here naked, underwear out, cheeks out. Like, it's all bad, but you know, the things I do for Garrett and the love of filmmaking.
All right, if you're still here, thank you for watching it all the way through. This is the most in-depth I've gone on one of my behind-the-scenes videos. I hope I completed the 3 E's for you, educated you on some of the thought processes and planning of a production, entertained you on the shenanigans of us being on a set, and hopefully I've enlightened you on the value of
Just do it!
even when you're broke and you're stressed and you're busy, gather your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, and just make art. These aren't even Doritos. They're sweet potato chips. I don't have any Doritos.